you might not know about Joe Biden's pick to head up the Department of Health and Human Services. And given Biden's total bungling of his name, it doesn't look like he does either.
I nominated Javier Becerra.
Javier Becerra is California's Attorney General. And as if that weren't terrifying enough on its face, he's also one of the most radical pro-abortion enthusiasts this side of the gates of hell. He's a huge fan of infanticide, in fact, so much so that he's willing to trample all over the Constitution to protect it. Picking him to head up the Department of Health and Human Services is like pegging Cruella de Vil to run the local dog pound, or giving Ted Bundy the keys to a battered women's shelter. Becerra has long proven that he doesn't give a rip about health, and he most definitely doesn't care about humans. Despite being tapped to head up the department that will oversee a COVID vaccine rollout in the middle of a pandemic, Javier Becerra has exactly zero medical experience. He's a big fan of socialized medicine, though, and he loves abortion. No, I mean he really loves it. I'm not talking about wanting it to be safe, legal, and rare. I'm not saying he's cool with it in the first 8 weeks just because the baby still kind of looks like a sea monkey, or when a child is so malformed that they likely won't survive on their own. No. I mean he's cool with it through 40 weeks, full term, kicking and sucking their thumb, no matter the reason, simply because a child is unwanted, or disabled, or the wrong gender, or might interrupt somebody else's comfy life. He is a fan. Becerra loves abortion so much that he's violated just about every provision in the First Amendment to make sure abortionists are protected, even if that means slaughtering the Constitution the way they slaughter babies. He's such a pro-abortion radical, he's willing to strip you of your right to free speech over it. Becerra tried to force pro-life clinics in California to publicly advertise where pregnant women could get abortion services, something that not only runs completely contrary to the entire reason that these clinics exist in the first place, but which also forces clinic workers at the point of a government gun to say things that they don't believe, and to proactively promote a service that they find abhorrent. And Becerra believed the government had the right to do this. That if you aren't willing to openly peddle the progressive line, that the government can force you to. Thankfully, this crap was so far off the mark that the Supreme Court shot it down, upholding pro-life clinics' rights to not advertise abortion services and promote the very human rights violation that they fight against every single day. Becerra is such a pro-abortion radical, he thinks you should have to pay for someone else's abortion and birth control, even if it goes against your religion. He pressured pro-life doctors at Catholic hospitals to perform abortions. He tried to force the Little Sisters of the Poor to pay for contraceptives and abortifacients under Obamacare. This is a Catholic charity made up of Catholic nuns that adheres to Catholic doctrine. This isn't some hidden secret or nefarious plot. They just don't want to pay for birth control and abortions because it goes against Catholic teaching. And they're Catholic. Pretty easy to follow along here. But Becerra decided that their right to freely practice their faith came second to someone else's right to get free birth control. He tried in court to force the Little Sisters of the Poor to cough up their money to pay for services that ran completely contrary to their religion. Thankfully, again, the Supreme Court ruled that Becerra was off his nut and couldn't do that, granting the Little Sisters of the Poor an exemption from having to violate their own beliefs under threat from the state. But he didn't stop there. Becerra also loves abortion so much, he's willing to throw out the freedom of the press to protect it. When David Daleiden and the Center for Medical Progress published a series of undercover videos exposing Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry for selling body parts harvested from electively aborted infants, not only did Becerra not go after abortionists for admitting to literally chopping up murdered babies and selling off their organs for money, which is beyond unimaginably heinous, he actually went after the Center for Medical Progress for filming undercover videos and charged them with felonies, because that was the real problem here. Not the baby butchers massacring children and selling them off for parts like at a scrapyard, no. Becerra targeted the guys who exposed this horror in order to protect the multi-billion-dollar abortion industry. It was the first time in the 60-year history of California's undercover video law that anyone had been prosecuted for it. And Planned Parenthood? Not a single charge filed. This is the guy that Biden wants to head up the Department of Health and Human Services. Or, more likely, the guy he was told to pick. This is the department that spearheads federal efforts in medicine, public health, and social services for millions of Americans. It includes the Administration for Children and Families, Medicare and Medicaid, the NIH, the CDC, the FDA, and the Office for Civil Rights. This This is the department that controls federal adoption agencies and regulates hospitals and deals with human trafficking and makes sure immigrant children aren't placed with pedophiles. It should not only prioritize the health and well-being of Americans, but should work every single day to protect our most vulnerable populations, including our children, who cannot protect themselves. And that is the exact opposite of everything this man has ever done. He doesn't defend children or their health, he targets them for extermination. If there's anything Becerra's record has shown us, it's that he doesn't care about rights, he doesn't care about health, and he sure as heck doesn't care about humans. And that's your Reality Check, America. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and stay sane out there.